So everybody's talking about the issue of Russia invading Ukraine, and many people, particularly Africans, are not happy about the fact that Ukraine has been invaded by Russia, and they're saying that Russia is breaking international law, it's violating human rights, and they want their governments to take a stronger position against Russia. We've even heard the South Africans saying that sanctions must be imposed upon Russia by the South African government together with the West. A lot of the people that say that don't realize that sanctions that are not sanctioned by the UN are illegal, but they want their government to break international law to punish Russia because it has invaded a country of white people. We've even heard the media in the West starting to say that how can Russia invade a country with blue-eyed Europeans? It's not as if they're invading Syria. So basically, it's okay to invade Syria. It's okay to invade African countries. But Russia is going to be criminalized for attacking a country of Europeans. We then heard that the Ukraine itself is refusing for Africans to leave on trains. The same country that is crying about Russia violating its human rights is violating African human rights by not allowing those people onto trains. And Africans are up in arms. They don't understand. How can that be? But Africa, can't you get it? You are the very same people that have allowed the United States of America, the EU, to attack a fellow African country called Zimbabwe and others with economic sanctions for 21 years. These sanctions were called crimes against humanity by the UN, and they were said to be illegal at international law. According to the Geneva Convention, sanctions are actually worse than war because the Geneva Convention exists to legalize war and invasion. It puts rules on how you can fight wars, but within those rules, it says that sanctions that destroy countries, that destroy the lives of civilians, that kill civilians and starve civilians and deprive them of water are illegal even in wartime. But you have sat and watched sanctions, illegal sanctions, crimes against humanity being imposed on Zimbabweans, displacing 3 million people into being refugees in the SADC region, and you never said anything. The Department of International Relations of South Africa never said anything about these sanctions for 21 years. They've never asked, they've never warned the United States against this. They've never asked for sanctions to be imposed on the United States for destroying the lives of the Zimbabwean people and destroying Zimbabwe. SABC, which has got black directors, it is governed by an act, actually silences and censors the voices of people that want to talk about the impact of sanctions in Zimbabwe. When they have lied about the sanctions in Zimbabwe, and we've asked for a right of reply to actually communicate to people that what is happening in Ukraine is what has been happening with sanctions in Zimbabwe, they block us. They censor us. Stations like 702 will actually block your number. They will not allow you to speak if you want to speak about the violation of human rights of Zimbabweans by sanctions. Right now, we have seen South Africa starting to create hate groups, neo-xenophobic groups that are going to spread hate about Zimbabwean refugees that are in this country, displaced by sanctions. And then we wonder why Europeans don't respect us. Europeans are refusing for a European nation to be invaded, to be attacked, and the human rights of Europeans to be violated. They are refusing to see refugees, European refugees, being displaced. And they're putting sanctions upon Russia because the Americans say that Russia is wrong, even though the country that's being invaded is a country of neo-Nazis. Even though the Americans and their neo-Nazi government have been attacking Zimbabwe, implementing sanctions that are illegal, violating human rights, depriving people of water, healthcare, and education, depriving people of food, depriving people of economic development, and destroying homes, no one has complained. That's why nobody respects you as Africans, because you hate your own. You don't respect your own. The human rights of Africa should have been enforced in Zimbabwe for other people to respect them. The way you are seeing them enforcing blue-eyed people's rights in Ukraine, even though it's a neo-Nazi state, people don't want it to be invaded. Even though Ukraine broke rules and international agreements made with Russia, people don't want Ukraine to be invaded because they respect blue-eyed people's human rights. But you Africans, you people in Africa have refused to respect the human rights of people, of Zimbabweans and other Africans, because you think they are inferior to you, because you treat them like they're inferior to you, because you want their governments to be removed illegally through sanctions because you don't like their governments for they stand for the emancipation of black people and you are not ready to emancipate black people. That's why you'll never be respected. That's why you won't be allowed on trains. That's why people say it's okay to bomb Syria and Africa, but it's not okay to bomb blue-eyed people because blue-eyed people continue to have a higher humanity than the humanity of you, black people. You hate Zimbabweans, and by hating Zimbabweans, you hate yourself. By allowing sanctions on Zimbabwe, you're allowing sanctions to be put on you tomorrow. By allowing sanctions on Zimbabwe, you're saying that black human rights are not human rights. That's why a crime against humanity can be allowed to go on Zimbabweans because they are not human. Change your attitude and people begin to respect you. We are fighting against sanctions to bring back humanity to black Africans. We are calling for reparations for those sanctions to bring back humanity to every African, including those countries that are going to go under sanctions without even realizing that they're going to go under sanctions in future. You need to stand together, Africans, to be respected by others.